Hey there everyone, it's Mr. Lane, here to introduce you to the art from the Islamic world. Take good notes and let's begin. Islamic art key ideas. The term Islamic art not only describes the art created specifically in the service of the Muslim faith, for example, a mosque and its furnishings, but also characterizes the art and architecture historically produced in the lands ruled by Muslims, produced for Muslim patrons, or created by Muslim artists. Most important building for Muslim worship is the mosque. Islamic people pray toward the city of Mecca, the most holiest site in Islam, identified by a niche in the wall of a mosque called a Mirab. The Mirab is a niche in the Qibla wall. Artworks include calligraphy with arabesque that are interweaving in floral motifs and geometric patterns, as well as tessellations. Calligraphy is the most prized art form. We also see Persian manuscripts and the Quran we'll discuss as well. Islam key ideas. The founder of Islam is the Prophet Muhammad, who began preaching in 613 BCE. Muhammad exclaimed that there is only one God, Allah, and that he is the chosen messenger to the people. Indigenous Arabs were generally polytheist. There are 5 pillars of Islam. 1. Proclaim that there is only one God and that his prophet is Muhammad. 2. Muslims pray 5 times a day towards Mecca. 3. Provide for the poor. 4. Must fast during the month of Ramadan. And 5. Make a pilgrimage to Mecca. Islam expanded to North Africa, the Middle East, parts of Spain, India, and Central Asia by the 7th century. After the Mongol sack of Baghdad in 1258, the Islamic world split into 2 huge cultural divisions, East versus West. There are 2 principal divisions, the Shiite versus the Sunni. Here's a list of key terms that you will learn about. These are the artworks we will study. The religion of Islam was established in the Arabian Peninsula and spread swiftly to Syria, Palestine, Iraq, and Lower Egypt. By 710, all of North Africa was under Islamic control. In the following centuries, Islamic rule was established in southern Spain. Islam is the 2nd largest religion in the world after Christianity. There are 1.6 billion Muslims. It is centered around the 6th century prophet Muhammad, whose revelations are written in the Quran, the sacred book of Islam. To learn more about Islam, the Quran, and the 5 pillars, here's a crash course world history video. Mecca is the spiritual capital of Islam. The Kaaba is the cubical textile draped string built for God by Abraham and his son Ishmael. You see it here in the center. It has black and gold. It's also the religious center of the pilgrimage that Muslims take. That pilgrimage, which is obligatory, mandatory, is called the Hajj. Muslims do this annually. A Hajj, all able-bodied Muslims must go to Mecca and circumambulate, walk around the Kaaba praying. A pilgrimage is a journey to some sacred place as an act of religious devotion. Muhammad removed all pagan idols, something we call aniconism, in which one avoids figural imagery. Instead, we see non-figural ornaments, geometric designs, and surface decoration. One of the first holy cities that Islam spread to is Jerusalem, where many monuments were erected. The building here in the background with the gold dome, which we'll look at a little bit closer here soon, is the first great monument and one of the third most holy sites in Islam. The Muslims captured Jerusalem from the Byzantines in 638. And the first great Islamic building, the Dome of the Rock, was erected there between 687 and 692. The monumental shrine is not a mosque, as popularly thought, but an architectural tribute to the triumph of Islam. It is a Jewish and Christian holy site. It is sacred to Muslims, Christians, and Jews. It's also associated with Solomon, the site of the creation of Adam, and the place where Abraham sacrificed Isaac. For Islam, it is the rock where Muhammad ascended to God on his night journey. The shrine takes the form of an octagon with a towering dome. It is a domed, central plan structure descended from the Pantheon in Rome and Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, but it more closely resembles the octagonal San Vitale in Ravenna. Here's a comparison of the interior. The dome is supported by arcades of alternating piers and columns and creates concentric aisles known as ambulatories. This allows someone to walk around like we saw with the Kaaba, where one will circumambulate and then kneel and pray near the relic. At the center, below the dome, is the rocky outcropping later associated with Adam, Abraham, and Muhammad, the rock. Islamic religious architecture is closely related to Muslim prayer, an obligation laid down in the Quran for all Muslims. A mosque, those are worshiping centers in which one kneels towards Mecca. The mosque, from Arabic masjid, a place of prostration, is where the faithful gather for the 5 daily prayers. The Great Mosque at Tunisia consists of a columnar prayer hall with 2 domes. It's facing south towards Mecca. It has an arcade forecourt resembling a Roman forum and a minaret to call Muslims to worship. Minarets are towers used to call Muslims to prayer. Hypostyle, those are the multi-columned hallways you see on this mosque. The Qibla wall faces towards Mecca. It also shows which direction one needs to face to ensure prayers are heard, like in apse when there are altars in Christianity, for example. Great Mosque at Cordoba, Spain. This mosque was built over a Christian church that was expanded around 3 times. It marks the triumph of Islam in Spain and became one of the largest mosques in the Islamic West. As you can see here, it still has a minaret and a courtyard. The spiral columns were reused from a Christian church. Here's a plan of the Great Mosque at Cordoba. It was designed to be easily expanded as the congregation grew. In the Great Mosque hypostyle prayer hall, there are 36 piers and 514 columns that support a unique series of double-tiered horseshoe-shaped arches. The lower arches are horseshoe-shaped, a form perhaps favored by Christians prior. The Muslims adopted the red-white brick from the Romans, and this withstood earthquakes, so it had a structural function. In the West, the horseshoe arch quickly became closely associated with Muslim architecture. Visually, these arches seem to hollow out like wind-blown sails, and they contribute greatly to the light and airy effect of the Cordoba Mosque's interior. The Maksura is the hall reserved for the ruler. It's the enclosure in front of the Mirab reserved for rulers to protect them while they are praying and their backs are turned towards the congregation. Here's a page from the Quran. Calligraphy is the art of hand lettering. It is in high esteem. There is no figural imagery. It's the principal vehicle for visual communication and is a highly respected and valued art form. The Quran means the voice of God, which was passed down from God to Muhammad. The word Quran means recitations, a reference to Gabriel's instructions to Muhammad in 610 to recite in the name of God. The Arabic text is read from right to left, and the red dots are pronunciation guides. Calligraphers were considered the highest status of all artists, including princes and women. The practice of calligraphy was itself a holy task and required long, arduous training. The scribe had to possess exceptional spiritual refinement as well, and they would receive public recognition. Here's a short video you can watch about the art of calligraphy. The Ottoman Empire was between 1299 and 1922. It spread to cover all of the areas previously conquered by the Islamic rulers. In 1453, Constantinople fell to the Ottomans and churches were converted to mosques. Sinan, Mosque of Selim II, Edirne, Turkey, 1568 to 1575. Sinan the Great was the most famous Ottoman architect. In the design for this building, he rejects Hagia Sophia's longitudinal pool. This is truly a centrally planned building. Architects usually reserved domes or designed them with extravagant margin of structural safety that has since served them well in earthquake-prone Istanbul and other Turkish cities. The city of Edirne had been the capital of the Ottoman Empire from 1367 to 1472. On this mosque, we see 4 slender, pencil-shaped minarets, each more than 200 feet high, among the tallest ever constructed. The dome's height also surpasses that of Hagia Sophia's dome. The plan is a fusion of an octagon with a dome-covered square. The octagon, formed by the 8 massive dome supports, is pierced by the 4 half-dome covered corners of the square. The result is the solution to Sinan's lifelong search for a vast yet unified interior space. Here's an architectural sketch of the mosque. Another very famous building that you'll learn about through the video here is the Taj Mahal. In most religious traditions, a niche will include a sculpture, and people will worship the sculpture. But in Islamic prayer halls, the niche is empty. The prayer niche, or mirab, is the focal point in the interior of a mosque located in the Qibla wall that faces Mecca, the holy city of Islam. Verses from the Holy Quran, written in the form of Arabic script, surround the mirab. This Iranian mirab is a masterpiece of mosaic tile work. Every piece had to be cut to fit its specific place in the design. It exemplifies the perfect aesthetic union of Islamic calligraphy and ornamentation. The name Maqsad of Kashan appears as part of the design of the carpet illustrated here. Maqsad must have been the artist who supplied the master pattern to the team of weavers. The carpet required roughly 25 million knots. It presents the illusion of a heavenly dome with mosque lamps reflected in a pool of water filled with floating lotus blossoms. The design consists of a central sunburst medallion representing the inside of a dome surrounded by 16 pendants. The mosque lamps, an appropriate motif for the Arabic funerary mosque, hang from the two pendants on the long axis of the carpet. We have reached the end. Thanks for watching. Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. Rumi.